Shawn is a YouTuber who has spent the last 7 years making ridiculous, stupid, and incredibly dangerous challenge videos for his series, The Wrath of Shawn. His stunts range from hiding inside a dumpster that gets loaded onto a garbage truck, to standing in the snow wearing nothing but his underwear while being dragged by a dog, and even throwing objects at police officers while insulting them. His challenges became so outrageous that his channel was eventually banned. He was forced to stop creating content for 6 months and ended up getting canceled as well. But unfortunately, in today's world, almost any controversy can be fixed with an apology video. Shawn did exactly that. After posting a public apology, he was able to return to content creation. His channel was monetized again, and he even landed a new sponsor. To celebrate his comeback, Shawn decides to do something he has never done before. He plans to live stream himself spending an entire night inside what is rumored to be the most haunted house in America. The place is known as Death Manor, located in the town of Pawn. During the stream, Shawn promises that if he hears strange noises or sees any paranormal activity, he will walk directly toward it. He also makes a bold bet. If he gets scared and runs away, he will refuse to accept a single dollar from either the live stream revenue or his sponsor. Just in case, Shawn brings along several items that are supposedly effective against supernatural entities, including holy water, a crucifix, salt, garlic, and a silver dagger. Basically, all the classic things that ghosts and demons are supposed to hate. The live stream is scheduled to begin on October 20th at 11 p.m. Once he arrives at the location, Shawn starts the broadcast by promoting his newest merchandise, including a t-shirt that viewers can already order and a soundtrack cassette he specifically created for this haunted house event. He also explains the special bracelet he's wearing. Whenever he moves it a certain way, the stream automatically switches between his selfie camera and the POV camera mounted on his head, and vice versa. To prove that he is serious about staying until morning, Shawn removes the spark plug from his car and throws it into the woods. That way, if he gets scared later, he won't be able to simply jump into his car and drive away. As he walks toward the house, he begins sharing its history. According to local records, Death Manor was built in 1880 by the founder of a religious cult for his daughter, a poet named Mildred Pratt. Tragically, for reasons nobody fully understands, Mildred did the unthinkable inside the house. Even worse, her death became the beginning of a long chain of tragedies. 11 more deaths would eventually occur there, leading to the property being permanently closed in 1956. Shawn wonders whether the house had been cursed from the very beginning, making Mildred its first victim, or if her death was the event that transformed the manor into a haunted and cursed place. Adding to the mystery, police discovered a body inside the house several years ago. By the time it was found, rats had already eaten most of the victim's face. To document everything, Shawn plans to install several infrared cameras around the property that can detect movement. He places the first one outside the house. After that, he breaks through the wooden boards sealing the entrance and finally makes his way inside.
Before I change my mind.
Once he's in, he locks the front door behind him and throws the key into a small opening hidden beneath a carpet and covered by metal bars. Now there is no easy way out. This is Deadstream.
Shawn, I want you to meet someone.
The moment Shawn steps inside, he immediately starts shouting profanity after getting startled by a black coat hanging in the darkness. He even worries that his live stream might get flagged because of all the swearing. The house itself is in terrible condition. It's filthy, abandoned, and covered in graffiti. Even worse, there are dark red stains scattered throughout the rooms, along with messages that appear to say, "Help me." Shawn also finds discarded spoons and used syringes, evidence that drug addicts had been using the place long after it was abandoned. After taking a look at the floor plan, Shawn explains that he has only explored 2 rooms so far. One is the kitchen, where a large butcher knife still hangs on the wall, stained with mysterious red marks. The other is the living room. There are still 3 more rooms on the first floor, a basement, and another 3 rooms upstairs waiting to be investigated. For his next infrared camera, Shawn chooses the master bedroom. According to the records of a man who died there, he repeatedly dreamed of a tall, thin figure standing silently in the corner of the room during the final days of his life. The entity supposedly whispered the phrase, "still pond water," over and over again. No one knows what it means. Shawn then compares old photographs of the so-called corner ghosts that were captured by a paranormal investigation team that visited the house back in the 1990s. After that, he heads upstairs, stopping at the very location where Mildred took her own life at the top of the staircase. As he continues telling the story, Shawn explains that the locals considered Mildred strange. She spent most of her time writing unusual poems that many people believed were connected to dark forces. Because of that, her parents built the manor specifically for her, hoping to keep her isolated from the rest of the community. On the second floor, Shawn enters the nursery. According to historical records, 2 infants and 3 children died in that room. The only thing covering the window is a thin piece of fabric, leaving a direct opening to the outside. While installing another infrared camera, Shawn plays part of a documentary filmed at the house in 1998. In it, the child of one of the paranormal investigators claimed that an unseen presence warned him not to enter the nursery.
Oh, we can get ice cream.
I don't want to go back in.
Jessica, longer to help us out. Who told you that?
Next comes one of the most unsettling locations in the entire house, the bathroom. Inside is an old bathtub still filled with thick black water, along with a cracked mirror above the sink. Records show that one person died there in 1955. Then in 2002, 2 investigators reportedly captured an electronic voice phenomenon. The voice appeared to say pond water, the same phrase associated with the corner ghost from the master bedroom downstairs. Naturally, Shawn decides to place another infrared camera inside the bathroom as well. Afterward, he installs one more camera in the second-floor hallway and continues sharing Mildred's story. For 8 years, Mildred lived alone in the manor, writing romantic poems about a love she never actually experienced herself. Eventually, everything changed when she caught the attention of a wealthy poet named Jason. The two fell deeply in love and exchanged letters almost every day for the next 2 years. But when it comes to what happened next, Shawn refuses to reveal the rest of the story. He wants his audience to stay curious and keep watching until the very end of the live stream. Next, Shawn enters a room directly across from the staircase on the second floor. Since there have never been any recorded paranormal incidents there, he decides to use it as his base camp for the night. However, while searching the room, he discovers a strange wooden plaque hidden inside a wardrobe. Carved into it is the image of a hand with an eye in the center, and the object looks unsettling enough to immediately catch his attention. After setting up another infrared camera, Shawn spends some time chatting with his viewers before preparing for his first spirit summoning ritual in the room he has chosen. As he gets ready, he continues telling the story of Mildred. Long story short, Jason eventually asked Mildred to marry him and move to Boston with him. But tragedy struck just 2 days before the wedding when Jason suddenly died. Then, the very next day, Mildred did the unthinkable. According to local legend, anyone who dies inside the manor becomes trapped there forever. The story claims that Mildred wanted a family to stay with her in the house because she was desperately lonely. After finishing the story, Shawn heads into the nursery to perform a summoning ritual using a clown doll he found inside the room. He recites a chant as best he can, but before anything seems to happen, a loud thud suddenly echoes through the house.
Did you guys hear that? Like a vibration in my chest. That was not a house sound.
Then viewers begin flooding the chat, claiming they spotted something strange on one of the infrared cameras Shawn placed earlier. When Shawn checks the footage himself, he notices what appears to be a figure caught on camera. The image is blurry and unclear, but it is enough to terrify him. Panicking, he hides inside a closet before slowly working up the courage to step back into the hallway and investigate. After all, he promised his audience he would approach any paranormal activity instead of running away from it. A little later, Shawn hears what sounds like someone laughing somewhere in the house. The experience rattles him so badly that he smashes the wooden plaque with the hand and eye symbol. But then something even stranger happens. A devoted fan named Chrissy suddenly appears inside the manor. She claims she watches Shawn's content so closely that she was able to figure out where the live stream was taking place. The moment Chrissy joins the stream, the audience explodes to over 4.2 million viewers. Since everyone seems excited by her appearance, Shawn invites her to help investigate the house. He even gives her a camera so the audience can watch from her perspective as well. Some viewers suspect the whole thing is staged, but Shawn genuinely appears surprised. He clearly has no idea who Chrissy is, and she seems to have shown up completely on her own. The two decide to explore together and head downstairs to the master bedroom. They walk back to back so viewers can watch both camera feeds at the same time. But something strange happens almost immediately. By the time they reach the room, Chrissy briefly disappears without explanation.
Chrissy! Chrissy, the heck?
Hunting for ghosts.
I'm serious, you legit scared me.
While searching the area, they uncover a secret staircase hidden inside the master bedroom closet that leads down to the basement. Inside, they discover a chest containing old clothing, a small brown box, a red necklace that Chrissy immediately puts on, and a collection of papers that turn out to be Mildred's personal diary. Shawn is thrilled by the discovery. Finding the diary feels like uncovering the biggest clue of the entire night. With their excitement growing, Shawn and Chrissy decide that their next step will be using a Ouija board to communicate with the spirits while recording any supernatural voices using an electronic voice recorder. Shawn begins reciting the ritual chant, but nothing seems to happen. Then Chrissy suggests a different incantation, one that is supposedly meant to help restless spirits finally find peace. At first, Shawn is reluctant because the words sound strange and unfamiliar. But after hearing Chrissy's explanation, he eventually agrees and repeats the chant exactly as she instructs. Moments later, a loud crash suddenly echoes from somewhere upstairs. Chrissy wants to investigate the noise right away, but Shawn decides to stay where he is. Instead, he watches her head camera feed remotely while she goes ahead alone. But then things start getting weird. Chrissy's camera suddenly fills with static, and strange noises begin echoing around Shawn. The sounds become so unsettling that he eventually decides to follow her upstairs himself. When he finally catches up to her, Chrissy reveals that she was just playing a prank on him. The joke does not go over well. Shawn is already terrified, and her behavior only makes him more suspicious. He starts pointing out how strange she's been acting all night. In his mind, it feels like she already knows the house far too well. After all, he personally locked the front door with a padlock. As far as he's concerned, Chrissy must have somehow entered the manor before he arrived and waited for him inside. Chrissy offers no response. Then, without warning, she suddenly lunges at Shawn and bites his neck. Acting purely on instinct, Shawn grabs a wooden object and drives it into her throat, killing her instantly.
I need the cops. Help!
Completely horrified by what just happened, Shawn immediately admits everything to his viewers and panics on camera. But the nightmare is only beginning. When he looks back, Chrissy's body has vanished. There is no sign of where it went. As Shawn prepares to check the nursery, a terrifying roar suddenly echoes through the house. He immediately retreats to the wardrobe inside his base camp and hides. While watching the security camera feeds, he notices something disturbing. One of the cameras appears to capture Mildred at the moment she took her own life. Not long afterward, one of Shawn's viewers sends him a video made by a young paranormal researcher explaining the meaning of the Hamsa symbol, the hand with an eye that had been carved into the wooden plaque Shawn destroyed earlier. According to the video, the symbol was used to contain and suppress negative energy. That realization hits Shawn hard. If the explanation is true, then destroying the symbol may have released Mildred's spirit. After watching the video, Shawn becomes even more terrified. Still, his viewers continue encouraging him. They point out that if Mildred truly wanted him dead, she probably would have attacked him already. Maybe, just maybe, he still has a chance to escape. Another strange detail soon becomes apparent. Mildred can clearly be seen on the camera feeds, but she cannot be seen directly in person. At least that's true until suddenly she appears right in front of him. Fortunately, Shawn manages to escape before she can reach him. Desperate to get out of the house, he retrieves the key he threw into the hidden opening earlier. But something is wrong. The key no longer looks the same. Confused and panicking, Shawn tries kicking through the metal sheets covering the windows, but they refuse to give way. With no other options left, he follows a suggestion from one of his viewers. They think the mysterious key might actually belong to the small box discovered in the basement. When Shawn finally opens it, he uncovers a shocking truth. Chrissy and Mildred are the same person. Suddenly, all of Chrissy's strange behavior throughout the night starts making a lot more sense. At this point, Shawn realizes there is only one possible escape route left. The nursery window on the second floor is still open, which means his only chance is to jump out of it. The problem is that he has to make his way back upstairs and past the very spot where Mildred took her own life. As expected, things only get worse. On the way there, Shawn is suddenly attacked by several terrifying apparitions. Among them is the mysterious corner ghost he had heard about earlier, along with other spirits lurking around the nursery. The experience completely overwhelms him. Terrified and hysterical, Shawn retreats once again to the wardrobe in his base camp. Not long afterward, his viewers send him another video, this time from a different paranormal YouTuber who has analyzed the chant Chrissy convinced him to recite earlier. The explanation is horrifying. The chant is actually written in Latin, and its meaning is a complete surrender of one's soul to the spirit that resides within the house, namely Mildred herself. According to the video, many of the people who died inside Death Manor may have first had their minds manipulated by Mildred. After reciting the same chant, they became trapped there as spirits, forced to remain in the house forever. If that theory is correct, Shawn may be heading toward exactly the same fate. Needless to say, he becomes even more terrified. Meanwhile, many viewers begin pointing out what they see as poetic justice. They argue that this is simply karma catching up to Shawn after years of reckless content that put both himself and others at risk. Then before he can process any of it, Mildred attacks again. In pure panic, Shawn throws himself out of the second-floor nursery window.
Guilty!
The fall leaves him with an injured leg, but at least he finally manages to escape the house. Without wasting any time, he rushes into the woods to search for the spark plug he threw away earlier and somehow manages to find it. Unfortunately, getting out is not going to be that simple. Along the way, he encounters a creature that resembles Gollum, as well as a police officer who turns out to be one of the spirits haunting the property. After barely avoiding them, Shawn hides inside his car and watches a video sent by an elderly woman. She claims that when she was 15 years old, she worked as a caretaker at Death Manor. More importantly, she reveals that she was the one who created the Hamsa symbol hidden inside the wardrobe. Its purpose was to suppress Mildred's power. The woman goes on to explain that Mildred possessed extraordinary supernatural abilities because she had offered her soul to a demonic force. That power allowed her to manipulate the people living in the house, driving them to take their own lives and eventually turning them into wandering spirits under her control. She also reveals another disturbing detail. A Hamsa seal can be created through a human sacrifice involving flesh. Before Shawn can think much more about it, the ghostly police officer suddenly attacks him. Armed with nothing more than a toy weapon, Shawn desperately fights back. By now he is convinced he may not survive the night. His tablet has already been damaged, and he can only hope that the live stream is somehow still running. While trying to figure out his next move, Shawn begins reading through Mildred's diary and discovers instructions for creating another Hamsa seal. The more he reads, the more he starts to understand Mildred. As a poet, all she ever wanted was an audience that appreciated her work. In a strange way, she's not that different from Shawn himself, a content creator obsessed with gaining viewers and having people enjoy what he creates. He eventually realizes that the phrase "still pond water" is actually a line from one of Mildred's poems. The spirits haunting the manor are not just trapped there. They are being forced to endlessly follow her words and her stories. Thinking about it further, Shawn compares Mildred's obsession with his own frustrations as an online creator. He has always hated copyright claims because they prevent creators from earning money from their work. He even remembers a time when he sang a copyrighted song in one of his videos and immediately received a claim from the rights holder. With that realization, Shawn comes up with a desperate plan. Following the instructions in Mildred's diary, he decides to perform the same soul-offering ritual that originally gave her power. The difference is that Shawn is not trying to control spirits. He simply wants to break free from Mildred's grasp once and for all. Since he cannot read the Latin passages in the book, he asks his viewers to help translate them. Then, despite everything he has been through, Shawn prepares to enter Death Manor again. Using a large tree branch, he forces his way back inside the house. Before heading in, he gathers every protective item he has left: holy water, a crucifix, salt, garlic, and a silver dagger. He even fills an old syringe with holy water and grabs the butcher knife he found earlier in the kitchen. If Mildred wants a fight, Shawn is ready to give her one. Back at his base camp, he opens his laptop and discovers that one of his viewers has already translated the ritual. But just as he begins reading it, a horrifying roar echoes from somewhere outside. For the first time, Shawn openly admits that he is no longer sure he will make it out alive. Speaking directly to his audience, he offers a sincere apology. He finally acknowledges that many of his videos over the years have harmed people, encouraged reckless behavior, and caused problems for others. Afterward, he draws the hand-shaped Hamsa symbol onto the floor tiles of the base camp. Then he mounts a camera onto a spear, begins reciting the ritual, and sets out to hunt Mildred. The hunt quickly turns into a nightmare. At one point, Shawn flees into the bathroom, only to find his vision becoming cloudy, almost as if he is suddenly going blind. He repeatedly drifts in and out of consciousness while struggling against Mildred's attempts to possess him. A short time later, he regains awareness and discovers himself submerged in the bathtub. Even worse, he realizes that while under Mildred's influence, he unknowingly swallowed an eyeball lying at the bottom of the tub. Despite the horror of the situation, Shawn refuses to give up. Fighting through the possession, he manages to inject one of the spirits with holy water. The attack works. After regaining control of himself and destroying one of Mildred's followers, Shawn leaves the bathroom and uses Mildred's diary as bait. The plan works almost immediately. When the diary begins moving on its own, Shawn lunges forward and ambushes Mildred. He repeatedly attacks her with the butcher knife, determined to end the nightmare once and for all. Even after severely injuring her, he knows she is not truly dead. To keep track of her movements, Shawn attaches a POV camera directly to her head. Sure enough, Mildred eventually rises again and resumes the chase. This time, Shawn strikes her with a chair and immediately begins the soul-offering ritual, intending to make Mildred herself the sacrifice. But the ritual fails. No matter what he does, Mildred keeps coming. Running out of options, Shawn turns to one final plan. He decides to perform the Hamsa ritual instead. The price, however, is flesh, so Shawn sacrifices one of his own fingers. Thankfully, this ritual succeeds. Mildred's power is sealed once again, and her control over the manor finally comes to an end. For the first time all night, Shawn feels genuine relief. Against all odds, he survived. He even managed to defeat the strongest spirit in the house, the final boss of Death Manor itself, Mildred Pratt. Meanwhile, the live stream reaches an incredible peak of more than 6 million viewers. Everything seems like a perfect ending, but then the final twist arrives. Just as Shawn begins celebrating his victory, every spirit in the manor suddenly gathers around him. The truth becomes horrifyingly clear. The chant he recited earlier did not free him from Mildred's influence. Instead, it made him her successor. Shawn has become the new master of Death Manor, and every ghost trapped inside now recognizes him as their leader. One by one, the spirits approach their new ruler, and at that moment, the live stream abruptly cuts off. So the moral of the story is never throw away your car's spark plug, trust random Latin chants, or promote merch in a haunted house, because you might accidentally become the CEO of ghosts.